Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome to my talk about up-leveling your cross-team collaboration with seamless integrations. Steve Jobs once said about Apple, our method was to develop integrated products, and for that, our process had to be integrated and collaborative. Successful companies know well how important it is to collaborate and how important software integrations are. A few words about me before we start. I've been for many years in the Atlassian ecosystem. My background is software engineering. I've been in IT consulting. I worked at multiple Atlassian solution partners. And 2.5 years ago, we won the fantastic Code Guys hackathon with the Meetical Meetings app. And since there, we have been through a lot of milestones and just recently launched 2 new apps this year. And I also wanted to say thank you to our early mover partners and resellers. And we started our partner program, want to more actively engage. So if you are a solution partner, feel free to reach out to me or follow me afterwards to our Atlassian Ventures booth. So in today's presentation, we will have 3 main parts to explore together. The first one is about why we need seamless integrations for cross-team collaboration. And also we will have an exploration about more technical details. Then the second part is an integration assessment framework. And that, I hope that helps you to kind of create your own system in kind of identifying the most valuable integrations for you within the Atlassian ecosystem. And the third and probably most fun part is an interactive demo of 7 examples of 7 integrations. And we will use the framework together in order to see where the value of integration comes from and how we could choose the right ones. So why is cross-team collaboration so important? There are numerous studies, but I like kind of this citation the most, that companies that actively foster collaborations are 5 times likely to be high-performing, right? I think that tells a lot about the potential that we foster collaboration actively. And seamless integration, how do that kind of combine with collaboration? So this is an example, a study of Better Cloud, which identifies that 70% of the employees say that if integrations are seamless, right, that it makes it easier for them to complete their work. And at the same time, I think we both know the 66% that how easily we get lost, right, in switching between applications and tabs, right? This slows us down. So in today's organization we have hundreds. Okay, I shouldn't have said that. So what would you think is the average number of applications used in each organization according to this study here from 2023? What would be your guess? Here we are talking about organizations with more than 1,000 employees. So fire out a number. How many? 40. Okay, maybe who comes closer to the reality can win this quartet from our partners. 3? So it's more than 40, maybe. 150? 200? 255. I think we have a winner here. Sorry, Ben, but you can get yours at the Yodoku stand. So thanks to our partners, you can get it afterwards here. So it's 1,061 different applications used in these organizations. And the crazy thing is only 29% of them connect and integrate well. And this shows 2 things. The huge potential for integrations yet to be built for software companies like ours, but also for organizations, kind of the need to identify the most promising integrations and go after them. So here we see the data infrastructure of GitLab. It's not the most recent version probably, but I think it really shows a lot of different things. We could probably spend a half an hour here on this slide. And I studied it, and yeah, it makes clear how many applications actually are being used. And for me as an engineer and with engineering background, sometimes you are not aware how many different applications are still being used in other departments, right? It also shows that some things are not connected at all. And furthermore, you see kind of different types of integrations already. We're going into in depth in a second now. So a one-way integration, a webhook, or bi-directional integrations now. So it's easy to get lost in too many integrations. And the question is kind of how can we find the best and most valuable integrations for our companies? One first idea could be that we choose between a best-of-breed approach or all-in-one, right? Could that be a solution? So here you see on the top right, you see like in the digital office space, the all-in-one solutions like Google Workspace, Microsoft 365, and at the bottom, as an example, some very specialized tools like Calendly. And but the reality is both approaches don't really guarantee you that everything is well integrated. Here's an example, or some examples. So in Microsoft Outlook, if you want to kind of create meeting notes and share it with your team, there's only a basic copy-paste. So it's not a real connection within your Outlook meeting and your OneNote. Nothing is synchronized and up to date. Another example is a project manager taking notes in OneNote and creating tasks. Now, these tasks are not synchronized to Microsoft To Do. You could expect that from an all-in-one, but it's not. But also, Atlassian has some limitations, right? So, for example, Confluence tasks, if you want to show them on Jira dashboard, that could be harder until now, because we recently created an integration for that, but it's an example of a limitation that existed. But also specialized tools like Zoom or Calendly, right? Even though they have very strong APIs because of their nature of a best-of-breed approach, they still have some limitations. No? It's not that easy to create a conference page for every Calendly meeting scheduled. Another aspect I wanted to talk about is kind of a technical seamless integration versus the user experience, right? So sometimes when we look at things from a technical perspective, we only look at, we need a two-way synchronization, everything needs to be up to date. But I think we need to be aware that kind of these are the technical levels. The most complex things can be kind of middleware, multi-directional software integrations, whereas the simpler things can be like a one-way integration, either kind of scheduled or pull data continuously. And the most simple integration is still export and upload. And as we know, most applications still offer that or will continue to offer that. Here are a few examples for this of different complexities of these, like a Jira add-in for Excel as a manual approach, and maybe using Segment or a similar integration hub to connect your apps. And one might think, okay, the experience is worse on the interrupted integration type, but actually, if we have a look at the same examples on a user experience, all these integrations can offer a great user experience without kind of sacrificing anything. So, for example, an analyst could be totally happy using the Jira Cloud for Excel plugin or add-in, whereas a more complex workflow between Jira and Trello, here we need here we need a more sophisticated approach. And all these integrations, regardless of its technical sophistications, No, we need to pay special attention because they all can kind of fail, right? So I think it's necessary that we deeply and thoroughly evaluate them. If a post function fails in the wrong moment, I remember working with Jira Data Center and server, that could really block an entire department. So integrations can be frustrating, right? So if they are hard to set up or if the integration is slow, right? So can be very frustrating. Now, before we come to the integration assessment framework, I want to also consider this idea, right, that we think of if we are searching for integrations and it's a more strategic topic like a financial report, it could be totally fine if on a technical level things are kind of interrupted or even have a manual import-export. But when it comes to the technical level of things, roadmaps, maybe a one-way integration is already needed to provide a good user experience, a seamless user experience. And an emergency call software need to be integrated very seamlessly. Here every second counts and definitely should be bidirectional by its own nature and can even save lives, right? So now all these talks I made were like kind of to explore this topic together with you. And based on that, I want to present you an integration assessment framework. And let's have a look at some criteria I would see. You can adapt this maybe to your organization. Let's have a look at some criteria I would see which should be part of such a analysis and framework. The first, I think it's definitely important to have a look at the business value. It's probably hard to say, hard to determine, but we can ask ourselves, does the integration contribute to our business goals, or does it increase our productivity? How does it help to reduce costs? And eventually, how does it give us a competitive advantage with innovative use case? Moreover, like the user impact, we should both consider how many users are impacted by our integration, but also the type of users. Project manager can be a multiplicator or can have a more important role in that sense, right? And therefore, it could be worth implementing that integration. Also, a cost-benefit analysis at some point, of course, must be done. And if we have that, we can move on to kind of other criteria like seamlessness, I called it, because I think it's very important kind of that integrations are easy to use and they require minimal input and they are fast and even where necessary sync in real time. Of course, they must be reliable, and they must offer great support if they come from an external vendor. That's very important. Data availability. It's, for example, here I think it's important to ask what happens if a source gets disconnected, right? Can we continue to work or no? So I think that's important to know and to make sure that the system is reliable and resilient. The complexity, I think, is a good parameter to just note, and it will definitely help kind of to categorize the integrations. Feature richness is a criteria which can help you kind of to identify if the features in both systems are kind of leveraged in an ideal way. We'll see that in an example that this can be very important. Of course, performance, it should be optimized for maximum efficiency. Security and compliance, that shouldn't be left out. We have some requests, they start quite exciting, and then maybe SOC 2 is a requirement, and a provider don't has that. So I think, last but not least, I think it's very important to use this integration for innovation, right? So some integrations can really allow you to work in an innovative way. Now, I will show later the Slack integration. It's not innovative anymore, but at the time, I think it enabled a lot of new kind of workflows which weren't expected at the beginning from a, let's say, simple chat software. Okay, so with that framework and that ideas in our head, let's explore together 7 integrations. I was focusing, or I'm focusing here, this kind of in relation to the GitLab diagram I showed. This could be an example organization, but I will be focusing on integrations which could affect kind of all teams. And here especially, software like calendar tools, the knowledge base, meeting notes. But I will also show an example of an integration between a marketing sales department, which kind of use the same creative team. Yeah, this will be the 7 examples. And yeah, just as a warm-up, let's start with the Slack integration. May I ask you how many of you are using Slack in your everyday workflows? Yeah? And how many of you use Teams? Yeah, great. So I think that we're now all hands. It's amazing to see now that these tools really kind of became not the new email, unfortunately, but as important as email, I would say. So there's probably nothing new for most of you. Now the Slack integration, here's an example of our service desk. We automatically get service requests in. We can discuss it with the developers. We can even take actions immediately on them. So I think it's a really great integration. It's definitely worth pursuing. There are also paid solutions, but if we have a look at that from our framework perspective, then I think the cost benefit is there, because in this now it's a free integration and it should have a good business value. It's also very seamless, and data will be available even if other systems are disconnected. The same we can copy paste that to the Teams integration. So the third integration I want to show is a more complex use case to kind of emphasize on the fact that what could be the difference and impact of a one-way integration versus a complex two-way integration, right? And so let's imagine we have a sales team and a marketing team, and then we have a creative team, and the sales team is working with HubSpot, whereas the marketing creative team is working with Trello. And the idea here is that the sales team can continue to create tasks for the creative team, and the creative team doesn't need to switch applications. They have all these tasks in their usual Trello board. So there is an official integration from HubSpot, and it can easily copy data over. However, trying this out for our use case, now that the Trello team wouldn't be able to continue as they used to, because, for example, the due date is only copied to the description field, right? So here we see an example that here the feature richness is not there, no? So we have a feature like a due date in Trello, and we cannot use that feature anymore because of this integration, no? And also the complexity is not matching our use case. We could continue our search, and this is an example of an integration platform called Untitled, and they offer a service which allows you to create these Trello cards from HubSpot tasks or HubSpot deals. And I tried it out, I evaluated it. It works really well, surprisingly well. And this would allow the teams on Trello to continue their workflow as they want. And the cool thing is it also synchronizes back the due date and even the status of these issues, cards. Yeah. So here we see now, I would say the complexity definitely matches. We could argue, and we have to see if the investment is worth it, because that is maybe not the most economic integration via Untitled, but still, if it's a reasonable amount of users which would be impacted, then that would be totally fine. The next integration is a calendar integration for automatic meeting notes, right? Here we want to make sure that everyone has easy access to meeting notes. We assume that people already started to use Confluence in a way they use Confluence meeting notes. And yeah, so this is one of our apps, so disclaimer, Meetical meetings. And with this app, people are able to create meeting notes directly from Outlook or directly from Google Calendar. The app can connect the calendars of people to Confluence, and they can also work directly from Confluence. So there's no context switching needed wherever you want to continue working from Confluence or from Outlook and Google Calendar. And this is an example. Actually, let's have a look at a quick demo here. So you can install the app as usual, and then you find the Meetical calendar as a new app in Confluence. And yeah, after a quick setup, you can connect the Google Calendar or Microsoft 365, potentially even combining them. And after connecting your calendar, I can here navigate to that meeting calendar, and you see a couple of meetings. And let's create a page, an example page for this recurring meeting. Simply can choose a space and the parent page optionally if I want to. Here could be Project Alpha. Then I use a template. I use here the asynchronous status meeting template. And I also can directly activate an automation which will then create these pages for this series automatically in advance, with whatever days I wanted to create them in advance. And so, yeah, this integration works both for the project manager, but the link to that page is added to the description and will lead to this page. And as I use the asynchronous template, the participant input table has been generated and users get notified. Everything stays automatically in sync if things change. And I can easily navigate here back to the master page of that series, or in any moment come to the internal calendar, find that meeting or change any automation options. And yeah, after automation kicks in here, we see the next page got automatically created. We have an additional participant. The system identified that. It shows us the open action items from any past meetings, which is very important. And we can easily navigate back and forth through meetings. I think that's very important to create that sense of progress within a meeting. Yeah, so all of this is also available on the other part, like on Outlook or on Google Calendar via Chrome extension directly. So we don't have time to show that, but yeah, it's a very seamless experience on whatever side you're working. So yeah, obviously here I'm a bit biased, so I leave it up to you to determine the business value. But I think the user impact of this app can be very strong if it's rolled out correctly. Then it should the ROI should be reached very soon, and yeah, the experience is seamless. It's also a good example how a one-way integration can lead to a super nice user experience, right? There are some ideas to synchronize back data from Confluence to your calendar, but actually that's 2% of the use cases so far. So yeah, we are open for feature requests, but yeah, I think it's a good example that that triggered one-way integration can lead to a very good experience. Okay, next example is integration from another company, Google Calendar. It's quite simple integration. No? It doesn't have a lot of features in terms of also synchronization option, but I wanted to show it because it easily allows you to kind of embed a calendar on Confluence. And with the help of another app, you could kind of share that calendar on a Jira dashboard, right? So I think this quite affordable, easy integration can have a great impact on both Jira and Confluence. And yeah, so even though the integration is only one way, for many, many use cases, that's totally enough, no? To share a Google Calendar and keep people up to date. That's what many people want, no? And I've talked to the vendor, and they said, yeah, they also had kind of requests to, can't I kind of integrate in such a way that I can drag and drop in that calendar and change the dates, but it only covers like 2 or 5%. So why bother? And no, so this extension stays affordable and easy to manage. The next integration example I want to show you is something we've created recently. It's a free extension. And it allows, the idea was that business users more and more come to the Jira platform, right? And some of them only work with Confluence, via meeting notes, and similar use cases. And this allows anyone to come to a Jira issue. And as you see, this star button is part of the integration. And you can simply click and get a URL, copy that to your mobile or to your Apple or Microsoft calendar, and you have all these issues kind of present on your calendar. If they don't have a due date, they will show up on the current day, right? So it's intended to be kind of plug and play and easy to use. We then also added more capabilities, like showing all your open issues, or even showing all issues which are currently assigned to you in the current sprint. And with JQL, it can get as complex as you want it to be. And the unique thing of this integration is that it's bound to the current user or to the user, right? So each link is private and doesn't necessarily need an admin to be set up. And they are also secure. It uses Forge. Plus, when a user is deactivated, the whole subscription is deactivated as well. And we also have mechanics in the backlog that after a few weeks of not using it, it will deactivate. So I think this is a good example where we already had feedback, like to say, hey, can't this update in real time somehow, or can I kind of drag and drop across that calendar and change the due date of an issue? And it's not possible with that technology, no. Maybe in the future we build a two-way sync, but it covers so many use cases, right? From support teams to managers who want to have a look on a specific epics. You can also drag in releases or marketing-related things. So it might not match any use case, but it's still a great integration, I think. Last but not least, a little bit more complex integration, which helped us win the Codegeist in 2022, last year. It's also an app targeted as business users. So we've seen, and how many of you use Confluence meeting notes? Are there some who use it for their meetings already? Yeah, okay, quite a few. So you might be familiar with the problem that the tasks get lost easily. Yeah. So this integration, the idea is number one, to create a consolidated task report, which is kind of accessible outside of Confluence in Jira, but also be able to create one single dashboard for teams who use both Confluence tasks and Jira issues. And yeah, this is how it could look like, right? So you have a couple of Confluence tasks, and we have 4 different gadgets which you can use on your dashboard. The app is also free, so it's more an explorative thing to find out what would be useful for you. We even have analytics to help you with capacity planning and show a complete picture. Let's have a look at a quick demo. Okay, yeah, so it's a free app currently, and you can get it on the marketplace. As you see, you can easily choose all the team members you want to have the task report about, and kind of categorize and group things by page or by participant, show completed tasks or show open action items, activity. And this is a complete analytics view you see here, with some gamification features as well. And a nice calendar view of these Confluence tasks, plus a feature which is similar to what we saw before, which helps you to see all your tasks right in your calendar, right? So, and imagine now you can kind of combine this with the Jira task and have a really on your calendar kind of have some sort of dashboard created with a complete view of all your assigned or created tasks. So yeah, I think now this task reports is also a two-way integration, right? If you kind of check off tasks in the dashboard, they will definitely be checked off in Confluence. And you can even kind of provide with a single click, you can provide an update and write text into the Confluence page, because sometimes these tasks are not always like check or uncheck, but they might need some additional information. What was the result of this task, right? So yeah, in terms of performance, currently it's a new app, right? So basically you have to install the Confluence and the Jira app to make it work correctly. We hope that Forge and the marketplace evolves so it can be a bit more performant, but I think it's totally acceptable, and with caching we also managed to bring this to a good level. Yeah, so I hope you learned something new and useful, and these integrations are available for you, all with a free trial, or most of them even free. And I will also post a blog post after the conference summarizing many things, and we'll find the links also there. Okay, so summary of this talk, I would say we've seen why it's so important to have seamless integrations and how they could kind of enable cross-team collaboration and foster this innovative new workflows. And in the second part, we had a look at the integration assessment framework, which you will also then find on the blog post, and might be some sort of template for you to better identify which integrations are worth going after. And then we have seen a couple of integrations which help us to improve these, and where we also use that framework to find out if we want to invest. I think seamless integrations can definitely be a game changer for many workflows. They are important, essential, whether it's a best of breed or all-in-one world. It's always a very important topic for every organization. And I want to close with a very good finding from Forrester, from a report, that companies that invest in these seamless integrations know that they achieve 50% faster time to market. And I think that says a lot about the potential we have here for good software tools in our companies. It's already the end of my talk. Thank you so much for being here, for listening. I hope you learned something new. Please visit our website, check out our apps, and feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn. And I would also be happy to answer now any questions. And after the talk, we will going over to the Atlassian Ventures booth. So feel free to come and continue the conversation, or check out our apps, get a personal demo. Thank you very much. Thanks. So are there any questions in the room?
There was one app you showed earlier about having a Google Calendar on a Confluence page. Which is that in the marketplace? Like, which app was that? What was that called?
Yeah, that app is simply called Google Calendar for Confluence. I think you should find it with a search on the marketplace. It's not from Meetical. If you search Meetical, it's from another vendor, but I just use it as an example without any direct relation, so to say. Yeah. But the second kind of the use case, which showed that calendar on a Jira dashboard, that's using the Task Reports app, one of the gadgets. So if you are interested in using these macros on a Jira dashboard, then check out that app. It's a free app. Thank you so much again. Thanks.